Welcome back to another edition of Six Borough Sports, your home for New York and South Florida sports. Today, we're going to recap the Super Bowl, talk a little bit about Mets spring training and what to look out for, do a little bit of Canes basketball and FAU basketball, and then finish up and go into the Panthers game next Saturday against the Caps. Should be a fun time. Now, for the Super Bowl, once again, my predictions are wrong. Just go the opposite of whatever I say, because I've been terrible. I'm 0 for 3 in my playoff predictions this year. But, Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes. The Niners had plenty of opportunities, but to me, the thing that stuck out most was Niners special teams and then that overtime debacle. I didn't think Brock Purdy played particularly bad. He didn't play great, but he did enough for the team to win. Mahomes, he just turned it on in the second half, and that's what he always does. That muffed punt that one was the dagger, I think, that really knocked out the Niners. And then that missed field goal also really cost them. And with the new overtime rule, you want to have the ball second. Because it's two reasons. One, you know what you need to do to win or tie the game. And two, you have 4 downs to do it. The reason why the Niners had to kick that field goal is because it was 3rd down. Also, on that last play, leaving Chris Jones unblocked, I saw a video accusing the Super Bowl of being rigged, and it looked pretty bad. He was completely untouched, and the guy, the offensive lineman, completely ignored him. I don't know what that was about. It was atrocious, and Purdy got clocked because of it. I'm not saying that the NFL's rigged, but that was pretty bad. That man cannot be not accounted for. He's going to be one of the highest paid defensive players in the league, and this year because his contract is up. And to leave him unblocked on the most important play of the entire season is unacceptable. That's really bad. But the special teams play, when I first saw that, I was like, why is he going after the ball? And then I realized it came off the guy's foot. I thought the guy who was receiving it, when he was going after the ball, when it was bouncing around, I thought he was the one who touched it first. But in the replay, you can see it bounced off the guy's foot. And then they missed that extra point. A lot of the fumbles went back to the Chiefs, which was very unfortunate. That uncharacteristic Christian McCaffrey fumble on the first drive that was going so well. They had that nice, scripted, let's go out there and get the lead drive. Just really killer mistakes. And again, you can't give the Patrick Mahomes breathing room. It's just not a... you're not going to win. When the Niners scored on that final drive, I was like, when they kicked that field goal on the final drive, I was like, this game's over. The Chiefs are going to march down the field. And then McCole Hardman, former Jet, by the way, catching that game-winning pass. I knew it was coming. You knew it was coming. And it was just a bad loss by the Niners. They didn't put it together in the second half. And they played well. They did not play bad in that game. But they were just... the Chiefs went in there and basically took their lunch money with that. I don't know why Travis Kelce was so mad at Andy Reid. That was pretty ridiculous. Travis Kelce's been doing some weird stuff lately. He had that yelling thing with Andy Reid. He was doing the Viva Las Vegas thing after he won, which was super awkward. And then he did he was singing at the Super Bowl parade, really drunk. Um, he's been a little off the walls lately. Um, but yeah, Patrick Mahomes is starting to catch up to Brady. He's only 28. I don't think he's going to play as long as Brady because his game is more, running around and stuff, which I don't think you want to do in your 40s in the NFL. But we'll see. He he's on his way. He's not better than Brady yet, and Brady beat him in the head-to-head. Brady will always have that over him. He beat him in the Super Bowl. Also, Patrick Mahomes hasn't really beaten any good quarterbacks in the Super Bowl, if you look. I mean, Jalen Hurts had a great year, and he played great. That's probably the closest one. But the other two ones were Jimmy Garoppolo and Brock Purdy. So I'd like to see, maybe... Well, there's no one in the NFC right now that really stands out. Maybe Jordan Love will turn into that dominant quarterback because the Packers just find some guy and he becomes an ex-Hall of Fame quarterback. It's very frustrating. It's like your team struggles for years and years and years to find a quarterback, like the Dolphins and the Jets and now the Giants after Eli. And the Packers we had this guy he was sitting on the bench for 3 years and now he's great. He's the best quarterback in the league. And it's extremely frustrating. That's why I don't know if the Lions are going to win that division next year. Dan Campbell was right when he said they might not be back to the NFC Championship. It is not easy to do. But yeah, we'll see what happens next year. I'm cautiously optimistic about the Giants next year. I think they should draft a quarterback and let him sit the bench while Daniel Jones basically plays for his job. With the Jets, they just need Aaron Rodgers to stay upright, be healthy, and make the best run that they can. I don't think they're winning the Super Bowl, even though they're all in. I just don't see them beating the Chiefs or even the Bills. Even the Dolphins might give him a hard time with a healthy Aaron Rodgers. And for the Dolphins, I want to see Jalen Waddle take the step to be the number one receiver. I feel like with Tyreek Hill, they like to bully him because he's not very big. And he can't be the number one target. He can get the most yards, but through big plays. But he can't be targeted all the time because the team will just throw big guys on him and take him out of the game. So they need Waddle to be the number one target, and that will open up Hill more to wreak havoc in the secondary. And I didn't really see Waddle break out. He had a great year, don't get me wrong, but I want to see him really break out next year and become a more assertive and dominant receiver. And that's how I think the Dolphins can take the next step. And we got to see how their defense plays. They played better in the second half last year. Their cap situation, I think, is pretty bad because they were kind of all in. But they should be a competitive team. They got McDaniels. So we'll see. Moving on. We got spring training. This week I'm going to do the Mets. Next week I'm going to do the Yankees and Marlins. The Mets, kind of similar prognosis to the Giants. I'm cautiously optimistic. I'm giving Stearns the benefit of the doubt, even though I don't like everything that he's done and said so far. He's been like, oh yeah, we're trying to compete, but you're not trying to compete with the moves that you've done. The guys I would watch for in spring training, number one is Budo. He pitched well at the end of last year. I'd like to see him be the number 4 or 5 guy and keep pitching well. Need to keep an eye on Tyler McGill. He needs to have a bounce back year after last year. There's going to be a lot of fighting for the 3, 4, and 5 spots in the Mets rotation, and I think the Mets probably go with 5 pitchers because Senga needs extra rest because he does not pitch well on short rest. And I want Senga to succeed. He's our ace now. He came onto this team and became the ace. I like Senga because he's really good at he'll get into like dicey situations like bases loaded and will walk people, but he won't give up the runs, or he'll give up one run and then that'll be it. He fights through and he doesn't panic, and he doesn't really get blown up too much. Severino is going to be very important. Hopefully he turns it around this year. If he doesn't, it's going to be a long season, because I think the Met fans are going to be, because they know him and they know what he's been going through. And I don't know if they're going to have a high tolerance for washed up Yankees. It's just not a recipe for success when you're on the Mets, because Met fans already know you, and you pitched your best with the Yankees, or you played your best with the Yankees, and then you come over here and you play like garbage. They're not going to be happy about that. So he needs to pitch well. I'm rooting for him, but we'll see what happens. The final thing to look out for, I think DJ Stewart is going to be a big guy to watch, and Vientos and stuff, because there's a battle for DH, because they didn't get Soler. Soler went to the Giants, which sucks. He got a contract that I thought was very favorable to the Mets. And I thought getting Soler was just a good idea as like an insurance policy of having a power hitter in case Alonso leaves for whatever reason. But they didn't want to do it. It was 3 years, $45 million. It's $15 million a year. He's worth that. Citi Field is a big park, like Marlins Park, and he can hit the home runs there. I was actually at a Marlins game, and I was saying, so we were in seats, and I was saying, Soler could hit a home run there. And we weren't at the seats, but later on in the game, he hit it in the same spot that I was talking about. And it was deep. But yeah, that's why I wanted Soler. It was kind of like a check in case Alonso leaves, and they didn't do it. I do want the Mets to, it would be great if the Mets like have a good year, and then over the off season, try to steal Soto from the Yankees as a power play. But knowing the Mets, I don't think that's going to happen. But we'll see. I'm rooting for Alonso to have a good year. It makes sense that he's not re-signed. He's coming off what was probably his worst season, which wasn't even a bad season. It just wasn't. It was his worst season. He needs to become a more consistent hitter. He's very streaky, and it doesn't help the team when you hit like 2 home runs in one game. You're already winning 10-3. I need you to hit a home run like twice a week. You know what I mean? So that's what I need from Alonso this year. He needs to hit for more contact, be a more effective hitter, and hopefully have a better season so the Mets can justify giving him a lot of money, because he's going to get a ton of money. And if he played like he did last year, he's not going to be worth it. Which also reminds me, because Alonso is a Florida Gator, and I need to give a shout out to another Florida Gator, our boy Kadarius. Congratulations on your second Super Bowl ring. I liked how he got all suited up for the Super Bowl. He wore his nice Chiefs uniform with the Super Bowl patch, and he didn't play a single down. So congratulations, Kadarius. I hope you got what you wanted. So, yeah, we'll see what happens with the Mets. Again, I don't know. They're not winning the division with the Phillies and Braves. The Phillies and Braves are all in, and they have much better rosters. They're not winning the division, but they should be fighting for a wild card spot with this roster. But I don't know if they will. And we got Diaz coming back. We got to see if Diaz is what he was. So that's another guy to look out for, is Diaz, because we need him to be good. We can't have him messing around. And one other pitcher to look out for too is Lucchesi. This is his second year after Tommy John. He should be pretty much fully recovered. Hopefully he can start. So like I said, the bottom of that rotation is going to be, there's going to be a lot of fighting in there, and someone's getting hurt every season. Someone gets hurt, so it's not just it's probably like 3 or 4 spots people are going to be fighting for. Someone's going to get hurt. They always do. And so, yeah, the bottom of the rotation and the DH are going to be the spots to look for this year with the Mets. Now moving on, FAU basketball. They lost a close one to UAB in overtime. Then they played another overtime game against Wichita State in Wichita State. The crowd was very active. But they won. They went into overtime and then they pulled away. They went on like a 6-0 run or something. And then they went on and beat the other Owl team, Temple. And tonight they're playing USF in a battle for Florida. But right now they're ranked 24. Hopefully they move up with a few, if they can rattle off a few more wins. But they're looking good for the tournament. So they just need to keep doing what they're doing. Try to avoid any more losses to bad teams. And they should be fine. Miami is in free fall now after that Virginia loss. And I don't think they're going to make the tournament, unfortunately. They have not looked good. And not optimistic. They are probably going to have to do a bunch of transfers next year to rebuild the team. And I'm also interested in what's going to happen at FAU next year, because usually, the other teams are going to start calling Dusty to steal him away. But we'll see what happens. I got to enjoy FAU. It's cool to see FAU on like ESPN on a Saturday afternoon. So we'll see what happens and just enjoy the ride. It's like when Lane Kiffin was at FAU. You just got to enjoy it while it's here, and then it'll be gone. But we'll see. He said he wants to stay, but money. When the price difference is too big and the opportunity is too big, he'll probably move on. And finally, I will be at the Panthers game on the 24th. They're playing the Caps. Should be a good game. The Panthers look great this year. They did not have a kind of hangover after losing the Stanley Cup to the Knights, which wasn't even really that close once they got to the Stanley Cup. But they should be competing again. They might face the Rangers in the playoffs. The Rangers are playing pretty well as well. They're another playoff contender. I don't think the Islanders are, but we shall see. And also yesterday, the Devils and Flyers, they played that game out in MetLife outdoors, which was pretty neat. But that's it for this week. Like I said, next week we're going to do Marlins and Yankees spring training preview. And I might talk a little bit about going to the Panthers game and whatever other news pops up. But please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And we'll see you then. Bye.